Can you imagine getting paid thousands of dollars for writing a single document, and not even necessarily writing the document from scratch, like using a template, or maybe even not even writing it yourself at all? I saw this idea from Glenn on gaps.com, and although he did a really good coverage of this idea, I want to take an even deeper dive, and I want to talk about how to actually get customers, how to do the marketing, how to actually do the product, because honestly, at the end of the day, you'd only need like 5 customers to have a really solid income. So this business model is very straightforward. You simply create business plans for startups, and you can go super niche like salon business plans, or you can go very broad and offer business plans for any kind of business. But I always recommend in the beginning going as niche as possible. So for a little inspiration, I want to show you a very simple looking site, and then I want to tell you how much money it's making. So this right here is liveplan.com, and they have over 1 million customers, and they're making millions, tens of millions of dollars every single month. And all that they do is they just have basically a template software that people can fill in to write their own business plans. And I'm sure they sell pre-written business plans on top of that. But they have over 1 million small business customers, and they charge like, I think $30 or $40 a month. So you do the math on how much revenue they're pulling in just by doing business plans. Another company that does this is called Journey.com. And they're selling plans for $4,000 per document. Now this is they will write it for you kind of thing. In 2 weeks, they'll write a 40-page document for $4,000. Now you might be thinking, who in their right mind would be paying $4,000 for a document? That's a great question. Let's look at the target audience. Now these types of documents are long, intricate, and very detailed documents. And they're mostly for pitching investors and raising money for a new business or startup. And so honestly, it makes a lot of sense. If you're looking to raise $3, $5, $10 million or more, what's $4,000 on a document that could very likely help you land that round of funding? But geez, I don't know or even want to write 40-page documents, even if I could get paid thousands of dollars a document, because I'm just too lazy. So how about I run this like a real business and hire out the work? That's what a real business owner would do. Oh look, here's a bunch of freelancers that will write investor business plans. And some of these are really inexpensive. $40 an hour, $15 an hour, $30 an hour. But even if we look in US only, we're gonna see people that are $150 an hour, $50 an hour, $140 an hour. In fact, let's look at Joe C., who is a Wall Street recognized startup advisor. Sounds pretty seasoned with 25 years of experience, and it looks like he recently wrote a business plan for a tech startup for $750. This is why I love Upwork. I can basically immediately see how much something might cost me, or at least get a good range. So it sounds like I could have these business plans written by freelancers for around $1,000 per document. So it looks like we'll be able to charge maybe $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000 to have one of these documents made. And then we go and we pay Joe or a similar freelancer $1,000, and then we've got a massive several $1,000 marketing budget and margin. And honestly, if you can't get a single customer with a $3,000 ad budget, then you should probably stay at your day job. All you really need for this is a nice professional looking website, and you can just look at LivePlan or Journey to get some inspiration on how to design a site and the copy that you should put on the site and the pain points of the market. And then we just drive traffic to that. And we could literally, well, not literally, but metaphorically light money on fire with Google Ads, and we would still turn a profit. And speaking of Google Ads, that's seemingly how LivePlan gets a lot of their customers. If you search on Google for basically anything that involves the keyword business plan, they're in the ads, usually number 1, but definitely at the top of page in the ad section. So honestly here, just copy what works. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to make a smaller wheel. And what do I mean by a smaller wheel? Well, you need to focus on a sub-market of what LivePlan is doing. So they're offering a very generic offering to a very broad audience. And the thing is, you can narrow this down by a specific market, right? So I'm only going to offer business plans for salons or breweries or something like that. And there's tons of different submarkets for this, right? Like you could do salons and breweries, but you could also do like restaurants, barbershops, HVAC, RV parks, daycares, laundromats, and even, even more niche like Turo business plans. And Turo is just like an app that allows you to rent out cars, and people use it to run full-scale businesses. So like those people need plans for how they're going to become profitable so they can raise some money so they can buy some cars. And by the way, each of those that I just mentioned gets hundreds of searches on Google according to SEMrush, as well as Google's own Google Ad keyword planner. For example, car wash business plan only costs $3 per click to be at the top of the search results. That means for $3,000 in ad spend, we could get 1,000 clicks to our page, which means that you would really only have to convert 1% of 1% to make back all of your money. And that's an insanely terrible conversion rate. Like I have seen sites from the 1990s that still run on AOL and load in like 20 seconds that have a better conversion rate than that. Now, if you search for car wash business plan on Google, you'll likely see that Live Plan is an ad potentially at the top. But the thing is, their ad is not super relevant to the query. It's very generic. They don't even mention car wash anywhere in the ad. Now, if we craft an ad that is specifically targeted towards people that are searching for car wash business plans, then boom, we would get attention just because we stand out and we're actually answering the query of the search. In fact, many companies do this. It's just called dynamic landing pages. And so they may offer a product that fits multiple markets, but instead of having one generic landing page, they have dozens or even hundreds of different landing pages that answer the query or the type of customer that's coming into the business. Then you can just create different targeting groups in Google Ads, and you can target all the people individually and send them to all of the dynamically generated landing pages. And it's much better experience than, create a strong business plan for any industry. That's just too vague, too generic, and if we can niche it down, I think we could get a lot of attention. But hey, maybe you don't have $3,000 to blow on Google Ads, or maybe you just hate the idea of plaguing the internet with more ads than there already are. So I've got another customer acquisition strategy for you here, and that is good old SEO. So I didn't mention this earlier, but Live Plans is actually owned by a company called Palo Alto Software. And Palo Alto Software also owns another site called B Plans. And if we take that same search query that Live Plan is dominating in the paid search, you'll see that the number 2 is B Plans. If we go to B Plans, I want you to see something that stands out immediately. The bottom bar ad. That is not even an ad, it's built into the site that is directly for Live Plan. So even if you have ad block on, you're going to see this bottom banner, and it takes up like a quarter of the page. The thing is, what they're doing is they have B Plans that's doing all this SEO stuff, creating all these articles and things, and then they're funneling all of that traffic over to Live Plan to actually make money. Now, this is a really good idea. However, I think that there's probably a decent drop-off and not the best conversion rate, since these are two different websites. And it's not obvious that Live Plan and B Plans are kind of the same thing or owned by the same company. So I think potential customers that come to B Plans might just see this as just another ad and immediately click the "get out of my face, I don't want to see that" button, and then not go at all to Live Plan. I feel like this would be better if all of this content was on the same domain that the service was offered through. In fact, SEMrush is showing me a bunch of keywords for brewery business plans with very low competition here. The keyword difficulty being pretty low. Things like, just brewery, craft brewery, a brew pub, a microbrewery. So there's all sorts of different angles that you could come at this from, and you could write articles about all of these different topics, and that would probably quite easily, with not a lot of time, generate some traffic to start selling your service. All in all, I think you maybe only need maybe a dozen or 24 articles to start ranking pretty well on Google if you structure it right with SEO in mind. And then all you do is at the end of each article, you say, that's how you do it, or this is, what you can do, or you can just pay us and we'll write it for you. No big deal. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind before you decide on a niche, because you might think breweries, that sounds awesome, but you need to keep in mind that some types of businesses will be willing and able to spend more money on a business plan than others, right? So think about it. Who has more money to spend on a business plan, a food truck or a 5-star restaurant? Just something to think about as you're doing your market research. All right, so here is one more customer acquisition strategy for you. It's actually one that I'm a huge victim of, and that is spam calls.
What?
I'm obviously kidding here. Don't spam call people. However, I just want to showcase the fact that getting access to information about new businesses is very easy. And you could, if you wanted, either do it yourself or hire somebody to go through all the newly listed businesses and see if they're actively seeking funding or they're trying to get money from a bank for lending and they might need a business plan. Then you could, in a nice way, do cold outreach to them and see if you can offer your service to them. In fact, just in Houston alone, it looks like over 1,000 businesses were started just last month, or almost every month, like 1,000 new businesses or more are started just in Houston, right? So like you can look at various cities. This is just bizjournals.com, and you can look at various cities and you can, see the records. And these probably have, they definitely have the address. They might have the phone number, but you can probably get their phone number with relative ease. And then if and only if you are good at cold calling and not annoying and spam people like the people do to me every day, then this is a relevant and potentially lucrative opportunity to gain new customers. But honestly, overall, my favorite is to just do what's already working. LivePlan has already shown that they're running paid ads, they're getting a positive ROI because they're continuing to run ads and spend a lot of money on Google Ads. And so just do it at a smaller scale. Or do it on a different ad platform, right? Like LinkedIn ads might be a good idea to look into. But frankly, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Just optimize it. And honestly, there's a lot of room for optimizations with their ad campaigns. One being just having dynamic landing pages, niching down into specific types of business plans, I think would help a lot and really go the distance in showing the customer that you actually care about the business plan that you're making for them. So I hope this got your mind all riled up and you're thinking about ways that you can create a business plan for your business plan business. Or at least I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.